the Chiefs O-line, especially, Dave, considering how they looked against Cincinnati, which was not good. It wasn't good, and we heard, they had three backups in there, and, oh, my goodness, they look like that. Not taking a shot at the Bengals, but the sack leaders in the NFL are the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you're thinking, oh, my goodness. You got a hobbled Patrick Mahomes, who's probably not going to be nearly as mobile as he otherwise would be, and you've got a very fearsome, ferocious defense you're playing against. This could be ugly. And what they did was amazing. I mean, it's just, you see, if you ever doubted the importance of an O-line and what it does to an offense, good or bad, last night was exhibits A, B, and C. Was it not? I mean, it was just amazing what they were able to get done.
Yeah, and they came out in the second half and just started pounding the ball. I want to give a lot of credit also to Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
I don't want to say angry run because I know that might spur you, Bob. For your hatred of a certain character on NFL
Kyle Brandt.
This morning.
You see that video I sent you pregame? That twitchy little...
I don't know what he's up to.
Did you watch that whole thing? He's had too much coffee or something.
Well, actually, what I did was, you know how you can scroll through the video? And if you do it that way, he looks like a bird.
Yeah.
He's looking around and pecking things.
He's not talking. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so Pacheco is somebody who is an angry runner. And man, that kid it's kind of nice to know. I was telling Bump and Stacy this, that it's nice to know you can get a guy in the 6th, 7th round and he can have that much of a meaning to you. So, I mean, that guy, look, I feel like that's where Ken Walker is going to be. And I thought Pacheco, rolling up to the game that the Seahawks played in Kansas City, I didn't see as much of that. I saw a little bit of that, but that kind of came on for him in the playoffs, that he's just running really hard. Mm-hmm. I thought just in general, and this is why I'm really harping on the coaching job, the very first play of the game, I was like, the Chiefs are going to win. Because their defense was just, they were so freed up and they just were aggressive. Like, in that 2-week lull, a lot of times guys get caught up and they start off kind of slow. The first couple of hits that Kansas City had, they were moving so quickly. It was like watching, the players without their pads in the flag football game. They were just on a different level.
So you felt like, because the Eagles drove the field on they scored a touchdown on their first drive.
Yeah.
But you still felt like, just based on the way the Chiefs were playing,
the way their defense played,
right.
and that those first couple, I was like, wow, that was pretty amazing. Yeah, just based on they end up giving up the touchdown, but still, I just thought that that, and also the way that obviously they freed guys up, and I'm not taking anything away from the players, but I just really love the feeling that knowing that there are coaches that are sitting in a dark room running plays back and forth and they find something.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy does this. And we can talk to Moyer about this later this week, because Paul used to, be one of those guys. It was like every time they do this, he takes this kind of step or whatever. So, but yeah, I thought in the beginning that, their defense really looked like they were just going to fly around, and they were more uninhibited by all of the pomp and circumstance of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was, just back to the O-line for a moment, and you're right, Pacheco runs with a ferocity out there. He's a guy, you're not going to just tap him on the leg and he's going to fall down.
Yeah.
But the line did a nice job. We talked about the protection of Patrick Mahomes. He was not sacked one time. The Chiefs combined for 158 rushing yards. Pacheco had 76 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. He averaged 5.1 yards per carry. So they were opening up some holes. He was doing a lot on his own. Obviously, he had the scrambles of Patrick Mahomes as part of that as well. But you had McKinnon who ran for 34 yards on 4 carries. That's an 8.5 yard per carry average. They were getting it done. They were able to do it and take some of the heat off Mahomes, who only threw it 27 times. He was 21 of 27, 182 yards, really efficient, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
Well, and the other thing, too, you thought that maybe the Eagles would be more dominant in the run game, and they only averaged 3.6 yards per carry. The entire Kansas City team averaged 6.1, and a lot of those really Patrick Mahomes, I mean, those were some courageous runs that he had. So, and he's not that fast, you know. He's not like Jalen Hurts as far as his talent, but he's just got a really good sense. And I think especially that's one of those things that defensively, you know, their quarterback's hobbled and that there's going to be, you know, he's probably not going to try to leave the pocket. And so you kind of check that off in your mind, like, he's not going to run. And he surprised him. So I thought the element of surprise got them a little bit too.
Yeah, as a defender, I would think Mahomes would be a nightmare because he can run. You're right. I don't think he's as fast as Hurts and all of that. But he makes so many awkward, off-balance, crazy throws that what do you do as a defender? You're like, all right, is he going to flip the ball? Is he going to run? He's fast enough to do damage, obviously, with his legs, but he makes so many just crazy throws. I feel like as a defender in pursuit, you're kind of in no man's land as to what do I do? Do I rush at? He's going to flip the ball over my head to a guy who's hanging back there. Do I stay in my spot here and wait and see if he takes off? He presents so many problems because of how unorthodox he is.
Yeah, well, and then you look at the fact that, you know, at halftime, probably what they're talking about, and I know I would do this as a defender. I'm like, okay, well, he's probably not going to run. He had run 2 times for 11 yards. But the big thing with him, how Patrick Mahomes typically gets it done, is that he runs to wait for somebody to get open.
Right.
You know, and then he throws some kind of a strange, I think he had a little shot put. I was thinking about you because we were talking about the over-under.
Yeah.
On how many off-beat throws that he would have. He had like a little shot put.
It almost looked like it almost got picked off.
Yeah.
It was in traffic. It didn't go well on that.
But I mean, for your defense, you know, defensively with the Eagles, you're probably just scratching off Mahomes, thinking, all right, he's banged up, but probably not going to be running downfield. And then, you know, I thought that was something that sort of took him by surprise.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the Chiefs after that game against the Bengals, where the O-line didn't look good, and there were reasons. Again, the 3 replacement guys on there, but they made a commitment after that loss to the Bucs in the Super Bowl to completely revamp their O-line. And I think, you know, especially if you're going to invest that much in your quarterback, you better protect him. You better put the hogs up in front of him, if you will. So they made that commitment, and man, it paid off.